Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Go Local News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us for the 3 o'clock show. Would like to thank Bob Wickham, Dartmouth alum, fellow Dartmouth alum, Jim Vincent, president of the NAACP Providence branch. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Kate.
I appreciate it as you're coming in to talk with viewers about this coming weekend's 105th Freedom Fund Gala and its awardees. 105th.
105 years here in Providence. Our branch started in 1913, 4 short years after the National NAACP started in 1909. We're very proud of being one of the first branches in the country.
Well, a number of awardees that I want to go down and recognize even before the event takes place this weekend, and you have a big keynote speaker.
Oh yes, Taryn Meyer is a CNN analyst, but for some people, more importantly, she's a guest host on The View. And I watch her and Whoopi Goldberg, I think I watched it once, beating up on a couple of Trump supporters, and I said, you know what?
I want her at the gala?
I want her at the gala. Not Whoopi, I can't afford Whoopi, but we're going to have Tara. And she said yes, she was available, and we're so excited to have Tara Meyer of CNN and ABC's The View to be our keynote speaker.
Very interesting. Have you talked with her about her keynote address, or is it going to be a surprise come the evening?
Well, you know, I don't want it to be a surprise to me totally, so I am trying to get her remarks in advance. I haven't seen them yet, but we want to make sure that there's no surprises, no total surprises.
Well, clearly she comes from such a national vantage point, but coming in here locally, you're going to be honoring a number of individuals this year and want to go through the awards and who these folks are, starting with Kyle Bennett getting the Martin Luther King Jr. Award.
Well, Kyle Bennett. Everybody loves Kyle Bennett. Kyle Bennett, he was the policy director at the United Way of Rhode Island, has been out here for a number of years doing great work in the community. He's unsung, he has such a great spirit, and we felt now is the time for Kyle Bennett to receive an award. And also he's with the Prince Hall Masonic Lodge, which is one of our partners.
Very good. And then Denise DeBarros, the George S. Lima Award. Talk with us about the award and then talk with us about Denise.
George S. Lima was one of my mentors. He was a Tuskegee Airman. He was a former president of the Providence branch. He was a state rep from East Providence. He was a union leader. He was a Renaissance man. He did it all. He was born in Fall River and lived most of his life in Rhode Island. He died a few years ago. So he and I knew each other very well. And actually, I was the first recipient of the George S. Lima Award, and he was right there in the front row, so it was really, really special. But Denise DeBarros, for years now, has done great work transitioning Cape Verdean students into the Central Falls school system. I can't say enough about the work that she's done on behalf of Cape Verdean students, and as you know, my family is from Cape Verde, so I'm really happy to be in the same state with the Denise DeBarros.
Getting the George S. Lima Award. And the Ida B. Wells Award, one that I know well.
Ida B. Wells Award, which you won several years ago,
goes to Diana Garlington this year.
Diana Garlington several years ago tragically lost her daughter, Essence, through gun violence. But she decided to take that tragedy and do something positive with it. So she established the Essence Foundation, and she's been relentless in terms of trying to help others who have gone through similar tragedies to bring their life back together. So we love Diana, and she's done a great job. She's really strong, and Diana Garlington is well deserving of that award.
Okay. Charlie Holiday getting the Medgar Evers Award.
Charlie Holiday has been a warrior out here. He is the coach of Mount Pleasant High School basketball team. They were in the state finals this past year. But more importantly, he for, I guess for at least 2 decades, I think, has been such a mentor and father figure to so many young men in Providence. And he also has a side, interest called Friendship Productions, and they've done a lot of good charitable work. So Charlie Holiday, I think it was time for him to be recognized.
Let's talk a little bit about Medgar Evers and the award itself.
Medgar Evers was a former president of the NAACP, the Mississippi State Conference, and was tragically killed in his driveway by people that did not like his efforts to register people to vote and do other things that were of equality nature. So he was tragically killed. His wife, Merle Evers, became really well known within our organization. She's a past chairman of our board as recently as I think 5 years ago. So Medgar Evers was a champion for civil rights. He paid for it with his life in his own driveway, shot in the back. So that's a special award for us, and we feel that Charlie Holiday, he's been a warrior here in Rhode Island, and we feel proud to be giving Charlie Holiday the Medgar Evers Award.
And let's talk about the award that Barbara Thurmond is receiving.
Okay, Barbara Thurmond, she is receiving the Joseph LeCount Award. Joseph LeCount, 90 to 100 years ago, was one of the first black lawyers in Rhode Island, and he was based, I think, in Providence, and did a lot of great work in terms of those early years, in terms of equality and fairness and civil rights. Joseph LeCount, I think, was the first Grand Master of the Prince Hall Masonic Lodge, or at least his picture's first up in the hall when I go visit. So he's very well known. I think he's a past president of the NAACP, so that's a very special award. And Barbara Thurmond, for decades, has been doing great work in and around Wiggins Village. She's a member of the Martin Luther King Hall of Fame with the city of Providence. And I just think it was time for Barbara Thurmond, who's been out here for a long time, to be recognized publicly by the NAACP with our Joseph LeCount Award.
And finally, Henrietta Holder, the Rosa Parks Award.
I love Henrietta Holder. Henrietta Holder is another warrior out here. She has an organization called Higher Ground, which is based in Providence on Prairie Avenue, where the Urban League is. And she has been working with the elderly population of primarily from Liberia, where she's from. And she does such a great job with that program. She also does work in Liberia as well. So Henrietta Holder for years now has done a lot of great work, tireless, and we feel it was time for Henrietta to be recognized by the NAACP with our Rosa Parks Award, which is a very distinguished award.
So we've gone through the major awards at the gala taking place this weekend. Is there anybody getting recognized that I haven't hit upon?
Yes, my immediate past president, Cliff Montero, is going to get the Living Legends Award. That's a New England NAACP award. He's going to receive his award at the gala on Friday, October 26th. And we are going to give out 2 scholarships to Roger Williams Law students in the names of 2 deceased judges, recently deceased, I think it was a year ago, a year and a half ago, Superior Court Judge Walter Stone and District Court Judge Bill Clifton. So the 2 scholarships are going to be in their names to 2 existing or current Roger Williams Law students, and we're excited about that. We're excited about our partnership with Roger Williams Law School.
Very good. So honoring a number of individuals here in the community this coming Friday, talking about the big keynote speaker. But when you take the podium, Jim, in October 2018, talk with us a little bit about what your remarks are going to be in this and where we find ourselves.
Well, just quickly, I'm going to talk about the fact that we have a dearth of judges of color in the state, only 2 out of 90. So there are 4 judges that we are recommending the governor put on various courts, and they are Maria Farrow-Deaton in the Superior Court. They are Christopher Smith and Melissa DeBarros in District Court, and they are Keith Cardoza in Workers' Compensation Court, which would make history because there's never been a judge of color in that court. Also, we have to address the school system. I mean, one indicator is that Latino achievement is last in the country. How can you be last in the country? That's the growing demographic in our state, and we know that there's no economic development unless you have a trained, educated, motivated workforce. So we have to talk about education, home ownership. Households of color are next to last in the country in terms of home ownership rate in our state. So we're in a crisis. So those remarks, maybe a couple others, I'll touch on, but really the evening is for the award winners. We want to make sure that Tara Setmeyer has enough time to set the house on fire, like she usually does on The View, CNN.
I think that'll be a very fired up and passionate speech.
Yes, we want to give her enough space, and we also want to make sure that Cliff Montero is properly honored, as well as the 2 deserving Roger Williams Law students to be getting the Walter Stone and Bill Clifton awards in their names, scholarships that the NAACP Providence branch feels very strongly about.
Well, very good. I appreciate you taking the time out of a busy schedule getting ready for Friday night here for the 105th Freedom Front Awards Gala here in Providence. Congratulations to all the awardees. We're glad we're able to have you in here to talk a little bit about them, and of course we'll be continuing to provide more coverage. Jim Vincent, thank you so much for taking the time to come in today.
Always thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for all the work that you do.
Thank you. And we're going to be right back here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center, so don't go anywhere. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Go Local News editor Kate Nagel. We'd like to thank our 3 o'clock guests for coming into the studio today. Go Local columnist Bob Whitcomb and NAACP Providence Branch President Jim Vincent to talk about the 105th Freedom Fund Award Gala. Awards taking place on Friday night, talking about the awards and the awardees. Want to thank them both for coming in. Be sure to come back around at 4 o'clock when Laura Afonso will be in studio talking bagels, coffee, and more. So she'll see you at 4 o'clock. We'll see you back here as well tomorrow on Thursday.